When Hasu Patel was growing up in India, it was uncommon for girls to learn to play the sitar. Today, she is known as one of the few world-class woman artists performing classical music on the instrument. From her home in Westlake, Hasu composes and teaches sitar, voice and tabla, and performs and teaches workshops. She is one busy woman.
I grew up in a family. My father was a physician, and my father had a dream or vision that he wanted his children to learn music so they can be humble. And he spent time, energy, money to bring teachers at home or go to the colleges and spend hours and hours, years and years, to make sure that we become a musician. In India, you don't choose. Your parents choose for you. So my father chose sitar for me. When I spent 6 to 8 hours practicing since the age of 6, there was no mercy, 24/7, to learn sitar. You cannot go out and play with the friends, no socializing, nothing. But slowly, the voice was coming out from me that I was born for it and I had to do it. And that voice still stays with me today.
The sitar is primarily a men's instrument in Indian culture, as are most of the melodic instruments. It's about as rare as you can make it to see a woman playing the sitar. The sitar is a very demanding instrument. Hasuji plays a style called Gayaki Ang. It means singing style.
My first guru was blind. So he picked up his sitar and put it on his lap and taught me. But he taught more by vocal. So vocal was in my blood in the beginning. So I picked up his sound. In the middle age, this maestro came in my life. And he was a proponent of this vocal style. It's called Gayaki sitar. Gayaki means vocal style. And he picked up at that one. And that is more difficult because you want to replicate the human voice from your instrument. From that, there is 18 metallic string. And you have to bring that human voice from that. That's the most difficult.
Many musicians start with the Gayaki Ang style and they move to a more virtuosic, more frantic, you might call it, style to build to a climax at the end of a performance. Gayaki Ang steers away from that, keeping the lyrical style instead. It's not common to do Gayaki Ang. So in addition to being one of the only women performers on the sitar, she's one of the only representatives of Gayaki Ang.
My father put me in the college when I was not married. So I was studying 2 degree courses at one time. One in commerce and another is music degree. At that time, in the music college, no woman sitar player was or student was there. So I was the first one to graduate from my college. When you get married, in the same caste, the caste is not open to accepting you as a musician. So they won't let you play. It's a humiliation as a musician, okay? Because you are, at the age of 20, I got married. And I was accepted in All India Radio. The All India Radio was the barometer to recognize you as a classical musician. So after 20, I got selected, but then everything went in a crack. I could not pursue my music for years to come. I read my music, I sang my music in my mind, so I won't forget the sequences, my steps, my notes, and the nuances and everything, you know. And then you come in America. Then I thought I'll be okay, I'll be liberated. But I was in a small town, Beaver, Pennsylvania, where there is 1,000 people lived. So there was no opportunity. I did my master's in computer science and accounting. Then I got a job as a program analyst. I worked for 30 years. But still did not leave my music. Raise the kids, raise the mother-in-law. I woke up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to play hour and a half. 5:30 I was out, 6:30 out the door and worked for life. Then I say, I cannot stay without music. I have to play music out. So one of the friend, she met me on the following week. He says, can you teach my daughters? I say, yes. So with 3 kids, I started 2 daughters and 1 son. And you know what happened? Then slowly my name came out. And I don't know how, I don't remember. But then one boy from Oberlin College came and started learning sitar from me. He says, why don't you teach in Oberlin?
She taught through a program called the Experimental College. We used the Experimental College as a vehicle for Hasu Patel to come as a visitor. She did so on a voluntary basis, and she attracted people from the college and the conservatory, some of whom already played instruments, others of whom didn't. But this is one of her skills. She was able to get people rolling with her music on sitar, if they were able and interested, or on voice, or on tabla.
Students were not only music, they come from any space. Physics major, science major, any major, I taught in my music also, not in a sitar, tabla or voice, but I taught Indian music, improvisational music on their violin, viola, double bass, cello. But that is an instrument I taught them all the Indian music in their instrument. So they play music in the orchestras.
So teaching is vital to the progression of any musical style. And Hasuji is actually very passionate about this, regarding it as a kind of mission, a lifestyle that she can't escape, basically, to teach her tradition. Hasuji's legacy will be her students. She teaches privately at home, and she teaches young children too, so that will definitely be her legacy, is a large crop of very fine students and performers. Indian performers are all composers in one sense, that is, they play pieces that they've learned, but they also compose their own. So they might compose a short, we would call it a song or a composition, which they will then present in concert with their improvisations. But Hasuji goes beyond that. She's written pieces that she would solo on with an orchestra, for example, a sitar concerto. She's done more than one, and they're wonderful. It's a genre that's very rare and underappreciated, I would say. Hasuji's concertos are very nice. They do a nice bridge between the two cultures.
I composed my whole orchestra from start to finish. It's never happened in history of Indian music before, never. Not a man, or I didn't see it. It's not easy to write for a Western musician. So I wrote the whole thing, and then I went 3-4 times to the colleges and sat down with each and every musician what they are playing. The passion is for keep the music alive in a pure form. You are a student till your last breath. Yes, I'm still learning.